And now, folks, let's get straight to the debate. We are very fortunate to have an experienced and knowledgeable debate moderator. Kathy Ward is a former Collin County Republican Party chairman, a former Collin County commissioner. She currently is co-host of JP, Kathy and the Crew, and the Christian women's talk show, Heart and Soul, Texas Women. Let's welcome our debate moderator, Kathy Ward.
Well, hey, first of all, thank you so much for the honor of being the moderator today. This is an extremely important decision that Texans will be making in March and then again in November. And I look out, and this is a Saturday after Thanksgiving, y'all. I mean, I've been at this since the early 90s, and to my knowledge, we've never tried to pull off a Saturday after Thanksgiving event. So you, fellow patriots, you here in this room, and the people like you all over the great state of Texas, all over this amazing country that is still free, we're going to keep it free. So turn to the person to your right, to your left, high five them, shake their hand and say thank you for being here and thank you for helping us win in 2022.
Well, you're the youngest.
So this is what I love. Everybody's here, and we're supposed to be in a turkey coming right now. I feel tons of energy. How about y'all? And we've got three wonderful patriots who will be joining me on stage here in just a minute. If they can gather over here to this side of the stage, and we'll be bringing them up. One of the things that the other side tends to be really good at, they may claw out each other's eyes behind the scenes, but in public they come out and they're united. This cycle, we're going to beat them at their own game. And one of the ways we're going to bring that back is President Ronald Reagan. Oh, I'd love to have some Ronald Reagan in office right now. And his 11th commandment. Yeah, that's he deserves applause. Great. That 11th commandment is thou shalt not speak ill of thy fellow Republican. And I'm so glad that we've got gentlemen who are here today with us who are following that. They've agreed ahead of time to follow that. They are here to tell you why they feel they are best qualified to be the governor of the great state of Texas. They're here to tell you their ideas about a few choice topics we have today. And I can imagine as I call out these questions, you're going to be like, yep. There are certain freedoms, some that we've already lost, unfortunately. But there are certain freedoms that we literally have to fight tooth and nail for. We're going to be talking about those today. So let's go ahead and bring up our candidates because I know you're here to see them. First of all, we have former Senator Don Huffines. So welcome. And next we have Colonel Allen West. And rounding out our candidates, we have Chad Prather. Come on. And to save time, they're going to stand behind the podium throughout the questioning. We're going to open with a 3-minute introduction so you can get to know them better. We're going to go into a series of questions. There won't be any rebuttals or anything like these. These are such important topics that we wanted to make sure you heard from each of these candidates and how they feel about these important topics. And then we will close it out with why they think they're the best candidate for governor in a 2-minute conclusion. So let's get started, and we will start with you, Colonel West, and then Mr. Huffines and Mr. Prather, and then we'll rotate. So everybody gets to answer the question first, second, third. All right? Y'all ready? You're welcome. All right. Colonel West.
Thank you so much, and Chairman George. Congratulations on becoming the chairman of the Collin County Republican Party. And happy couple of days after Thanksgiving. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with each and every one of you. Lieutenant Colonel, retired United States Army Allen West, served 22 years in the United States Army. My last duty assignment was right here in Fort Worth, Texas. The thing is, I cannot get started until I also recognize all my brothers and sisters who serve: soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, first responders, law enforcement. We thank you all for what you do every single day. Not too far away in Garland, Texas. Many of y'all have seen me up here in Collin County quite a bit. And I just want to say it's an honor to be standing on this stage. The reason why I'm standing on this stage is very simple. Those of us that took that oath, for me it was 31 July 1982. We took an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America to support and defend it. And I cannot tell you how disturbing it is for me right now to see what is happening in the United States of America, especially here in the state of Texas, where we're facing a constitutional crisis, without a doubt. We are on a battlefield. It is an ideological battlefield that we're on. It's a constitutional battlefield that we're on. And if there's one state that has to step up and show the other 49 states the way to go and the way to preserve the constitutional republic that we call America, is the Republic of Texas. We need to make sure that we stand up and preserve all of those rights, freedoms, and liberties that you have. Socialism and Marxism is not the way forward for us. And not having anyone believe that they have an enumerated power to decide who or what is essential in the state of Texas is not for us. But most importantly, when you look at what is happening on our southern border, I would have never thought that we would have a federal government that would abdicate its constitutional duty and responsibility to keep us safe and to protect us here in the state of Texas. Without a doubt, that is the number one thing that we must do. That's the number one thing that I will definitely do, is to secure that border. 30 years ago, I was on the border protecting Kuwait. How interesting it is that here I am living in Texas. We cannot even protect our own border. That's job number one. So I just want to say thank you again. I look forward to sharing these thoughts, perspectives, and insights with each and every one of you. And when I look out and I see all of these faces, Texas is in good shape. God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Patriots. Well, I'm Don Huffines, and I'm going to be your next governor. I'm a fifth-generation Texan. I was born in Dallas. I grew up in the Metroplex. I'm a God-fearing, lifelong conservative patriot. I'm a businessman. I'm a husband of 34 years to my perfect wife, Mary Catherine. We have 5 children, 4 boys and a girl, and we homeschooled them throughout their schooling career to make sure they could grow up in a good, conservative, Christian environment. They did. As a matter of fact, all 4 boys are Eagle Scouts, and I was a scoutmaster. And I can tell you that in 13, I was tired of the lies. I was tired of the rhinos. I've been a delegate to many state conventions over a couple of decades, and I love our party platform. And I decided in 13 I needed to knock out a rhino, and I did. So I was in the state senate from 14 to 18. And let me tell you, I got a PhD in that swamp. I uncovered one of the largest political corruption scandals in Texas history. Obscure government agency, $100 million budget, 3,000 employees. I got the Rangers involved. They were stealing tens of millions of dollars. I got 6 people put in prison, including the city mayor pro tem of the city council of Dallas. Thank you. Also, I was was always ranked one of the most conservative, top 3 conservative state senators in Austin. And according to the Secretary of the Senate in Austin, I'm the only elected office holder in Austin in Texas history that never took a penny from the state of Texas. No pay, no pension, no health care, no reimbursement, no nothing. And I'm going to do the same thing as your governor because I don't work for the state, I work for the people that put me there. I don't need a new job. I don't need a new career. I'm doing this because the job's just not getting done. Is the border secure? No. Are your property taxes going down? No. Do you have confidence your votes aren't being stolen? No. I've got a great plan to secure that border, and the key to it is I'm never asking permission from the federal government to secure the Texas border. I've got another good plan to phase out your property taxes. It's a priority of the Republican Party. It's going to take about 8 years, and we're going to have an election on it to make sure you can weigh in on it. We're never going to have an income tax, and I can tell you, you can keep the local governments fully funded. I'm going to call for a forensic audit of your elections. I'm going to make sure you have confidence in your elections. It's going to be a new chapter, not just in Texas history and Huffines administration, but it's going to be a new book in Texas history. It is our greatest
All right,
days
thank
of
you, sir.
government.
That's your 3 minutes. Thank you. All right, Mr. Prather.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. There's so much to be thankful for, especially if we live in the great state of Texas. Thank God we're not California, Washington, Oregon, Illinois, New York, or even Washington, D.C. But I'm going to remind everybody, not only am I thankful for Texas, but I'm going to remind you that the reason we're here today is not because of the men that are on this stage, and it's really not even because of you, although I'm thankful that you are here. We're here today for your children and your children's children. We're here for the next generations and the history and the legacy that is to come, the history that's still being written. And right now we have a history that's being written and quite honestly leaves an untenable future for Texas. We have probably another, I would say, I'm being gracious to say 8 years before we do look like California or Oregon or Washington. Because we have a big government, and that big government is a blob that's consuming everything that it touches, and everything that it touches, it moves on and leaves people like you and me in its wake, and it's time to get government out of our lives. We live in a state where spending is out of control. We have a target on our back from this administration. The federal government wants Texas to fall because they know we are the last bastion of liberty, the rock whereby the rest of the nation anchors its freedom to us here in Texas. They want us to fall. That's why when you turn on the television, you see the southern border of Texas. You don't see New Mexico, Arizona, or California, but Texas. Because they know that Texas is to be feared. Texas has the only size, leverage, economy, drive, sense of history, dignity, the people, the population, to put Washington, D.C. back on track. D.C. doesn't want to be put back on that track of freedom. They don't. They want to continue on in this big government form and fashion that we are starting to emulate here, even in Austin. Folks, when we utter the words, God bless Texas, we are taking a very solemn and sacred oath. We're invoking the name of God, honoring His providence, His hand of grace and mercy that has directed us throughout a very great history in this state. But folks, I don't want you to take for granted that blessing, because right now we have deified big government and we're bowing down to it, allowing it to dole out little trinkets to its citizens so that it demands our allegiance and our dependence on it in the years to come. Folks, this must stop, and it stops right here, because the system that we have in place doesn't work. The people that are there are not working. They're not operating with delegated authority, but rather dictatorial power, unilaterally making decisions that govern your life, and I can feel the boot on the back of my neck. It's time to say enough is enough. Let's bow our knee before that God who gives us the providence, and let's move forward and build a great history together and make Texas great. I'm glad to be with you. I'm thankful for you. you. I'm thankful for Texas, and may God bless her from now on.